Coming in live from Feng Gui Cave here on Penghu. We're here with the 49th edition of ESL Open Cup Asia. And of course, there's Yaku of Yakuzaku. With me today, we have El que introdujo el crecen en la posada de vacaciones himself, Light_VIP. How you doing, Light?
What's up, Yaku? We're here. We're back. We are totally on time. We have made it just in time for the beginning of this series. We're 0-0. We are here with these two beautiful players.
Yeah, we got in just on Jim. That's before time. And speaking of these beautiful players, here we have in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, spotting all the way in the bottom right-hand corner, the red Protoss player coming down from South Korea. He is currently teamless. We have Trap.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Death Aura LE, we have the other teamless player, the South Korean Terran, the blue Terran. It is ByuN.
And here we go. Now, Trap had some very impressive PVTs recently. But ByuN, he's arguably a race of his own.
yeah, definitely. To be fair, like, he's also been, I guess we're gonna find out, has he been struggling against Protoss, or has he only been struggling versus stats? That's kind of the big question here for ByuN.
I want to say that the only Protoss player he's faced since coming back is stats, but yeah, that's not true at all. But that's what it feels like, because those are the series that just keep going back and forth. The ones that end up being so close, and the ones that ByuN eventually ends up losing.
Yeah, that's kind of been the tale of his ESL Open Cup runs. It's typically stats who knocks him down, or, you know, I believe they even faced in some of the other Premier tournaments recently. But speaking of, I think it's pretty exciting because ByuN, he obviously, when he came back, he won Aces ROG, you know, a couple of weeks ago, and even now, like, not the biggest of spoilers, as the tournament is still running, but like, he's doing pretty well in TSL.
That he definitely is. And again, no spoilers, but we'll see how that can come to pass against the most recent GSLs. I mean, no spoilers.
Yeah, like, no spoilers. By the way, I know it's exciting, but you need to get hold of yourself, Yaku, okay?
I'm holding my wrist.
Oh god, and that's the other thing, right? Like, I hope that ByuN is taking care of himself. Like, he just played TSL this morning, I believe. Like, he was competing, and now he's back here at ESL Open Cup. I hope he's doing just that. I hope he's taking care of himself.
Yeah, ideally. You know, hopefully had a nap in between or something along those lines. But yeah, it doesn't. Still putting a decent strain a couple hours later.
Yeah, you know, he probably did have a nap in between, and he, unlike some other people, he didn't miss the tournament.
Yeah.
Huh? What a guy. He signed up, he checked in, he's here.
And now we get to see him in that TvP. Nice little bit of harass coming out from Trap. Always important to keep these adepts alive. You really want to be able to, you know, stack them up so that you do as much damage with as little time, with as little damage taken as possible.
Yeah, exactly. Not just the worker kills, but he was even able to shave off a majority of these Marines as well. So these adepts have done so much damage, even manages to escape with one of them.
And that is just going to have a bit of a knock-on effect as time goes on. Well, I suppose not so much of a domino, but it just weakens any eventual pushes that ByuN wants to get out, or any potential timings that he's building on.
Yeah, exactly. And that hurts ByuN's playstyle specifically so much more, because he's not your typical Terran. You were talking about how, like, he's kind of a race of his own. He does his own thing. A more regular Terran player probably would have been working towards a Widowmine drop or like a Raven harass or something along those lines. But ByuN, he's just been working towards this big bio push. And that's why it hurts so much more if you lose those Marines early on.
Absolutely. You're allowing the Protest player to sort of get away with their early game. You want to make it worth your while.
Yeah, exactly. And when speaking of the Protoss player getting away with things like Trap, he's just been chilling at home. There's been no harass whatsoever. He's expanding. He's taking a third.
And just really sitting pretty for quite some time. Exactly what Trap wants. I would argue that Trap is a little bit shaky earlier on, but once he gets to a pretty comfortable sort of early mid-game situation, he is a shield of his own.
He definitely can be. He can be. He's like he's a shield that if he wants to be, he can also be like an offensive shield. It's kind of dual purpose like that.
He's one of those shields that has a spike on it.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. And I love this. Like ByuN is faking his opponent out. Like there was nothing in this medevac. Like it was nicely done, kind of diverging all the attention of Trap.
And look at all these stalkers. They're not doing any harass across the map. They're not picking off key units here and there. You're just back at home, waiting for that medevac to go back in for another drop. You're still waiting for it.
Yeah, that was really nicely done. ByuN able to catch the observer as well, denying all this vision from Trap, and Trap is just busy waiting for a drop to come into his third base. Like that's kind of what he saw. Hopefully, like I don't know if it was an intentional fake out or if ByuN accidentally sent his medevac across the map and it was empty. Regardless, it worked out for him.
That it did.
Ooh.
Stalkers are like waiting for a package to come. Speaking of harass, though, Trap surprisingly going to be sending a warp prism across the map. Now, ByuN did try to go for this triple drop, but to me that feels less of a harass and more of a really dedicated kind of push.
Yeah, definitely.
You want to drop around.
Oh, and it looks like
warp prism.
Yeah, the warp prism does sneak into the main base. The army did just miss this. We'll see if any damage will be done. Oh my god.
Beautiful Widowmine drop, and he does target down the warp prism. That is going to be the end of Trap's harass for quite some time, and the army was spared. Only a single SCV going down there for ByuN. He is taking the initiative. He's going right across the map with his +1, with his upgraded bio.
Exactly. Now is go time for ByuN. He's like, okay, I killed the warp prism. That's it. There's no way that you can deal any damage to me as I go across the map. So now I'm just going to pull everything, unsiege everything, and just go and hit this beautiful timing. I've already got +1 armor is on the way. And now it's on Trap. Like, he has to prepare. Like, I would say, like, even throw down more shield batteries.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the armies, Trap has technically what he needs to be able to take out ByuN's army. But it does depend quite a bit on positioning and whatnot. Depends on target firing. Can ByuN get these immortals? Can he make sure that these Zealots don't jump on top of the tanks? A lot of friendly fire from those tanks as well as those Widow Mines. Couple of Zealots going down there, but fight not going in ByuN's favor whatsoever. Backs away.
Those were just the Widowmine shots that Trap needed. That was the friendly fire really working against ByuN there.
Yeah, that is a double-edged sword of Widow Mines in it. Well, Widow Mines and tanks, but
yeah,
especially Widow Mines.
Oh boy, the majority of the Marines did just evaporate there in the front line. So Trap, he defends beautifully. That was so important as well because he still had Storm on the way before ByuN was hitting, but now he has Storm. He has all these High Templar. Now it's Trap's turn to go across the map. Oh boy, this is gonna be a little bit scary.
This is terrifying right now. If you're ByuN, well, it's terrifying if I'm ByuN. ByuN is, you know, he is a man with no fear. Starting to get these ghosts out. The Seismic Shock, it's Seismic Shock, right? Look, EMP upgrade is still a little bit of a ways off. But still, just a couple of ghosts are going to be really key here. There aren't too many High Templar, but they are in that Warp Prism. A couple of these ghosts getting caught out. And the High Templar do manage to get out with their Storms. This is a decent concave for ByuN.
Yeah, but you know what? There weren't any MPs ready, so the ghosts were targeted down. The Storms are landing. Is it going to be enough? Trap, he's warping in more Zealots as well, looking to break this position of ByuN.
But ByuN is not broken just yet. Now he's starting to look kind of shaky, pulling the boys with him. But Storm has been used up. A couple more ghosts are on the way. And with that, ByuN successfully holds.
Wow, just barely holding. He didn't even need to pull those boys, really. It was kind of like a way to intimidate his opponent to make him back off, and ByuN just barely able to hold on there. And now, there it is. Enhanced Shockwaves is going to finish up.
There we go.
His ghost is going to be that much more effective.
Got the shock somewhat there. Seismic shock. Well, seismic implies Earth, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
I'm sure why. I went for that.
When you said that, it sounds like
it's a Pokemon move.
It is.
Think about it.
You think of Seismic Toss. That's that one.
That's the one. Well, you could call Trap the Seismic Toss because he is as big as, he's on top of the world right now.
Oh god, he is, like, again, the army is still looking quite terrifying for him. He's continuing to reinforce, he's expanding, he's taking a 5th base behind this, as he already has 4 up and running. Meanwhile, yeah, ByuN, he's still trying to get his own 4th up.
Yeah, it is on the way. Trap not really pressuring too much, so I think ByuN is still alright for now. Warpism completely missing those Vikings. Man, I feel for ByuN right now, kinda.
Oh god, the storms do land. Not a lot of workers go down, only 7 for the cost of 2 High Templar, but regardless, nice damage done, and the main army is pushing in.
Yeah, I feel like that was kind of the key point here for Trap. That's why he decided to morph in that Archon. Well, that and the fact that it's a lot more beefy and those Templar use up the energy. But it also provided a nice little bit of distraction. ByuN, that is not the right place to throw down that CC. It's still going to be in a lot of trouble. Oof. Chases it away, and there's not quite enough anti-air here for Trap to really punish that.
Yeah, exactly. There's only a handful of Stalkers. Decent Storms once again. There's a couple more left in this army, but he has to be careful. There's no more Warp Prism. Like, these High Templar are still vulnerable to EMPs.
Very vulnerable. Trap doing a decent job of sort of splitting his army, making sure that, you know, he can't be completely EMP down. But he does have to be careful about those Templar. Trap is starting to move in. He's almost maxed out. A lot of cells going down. Again, just...
Yeah, Jesus. Trappy just went up the ramp into a meat grinder. The EMPs were beautiful. Everything died. But he still has... Oh, the EMP on the High Templar. No more Storm.
No more Storms whatsoever. Is able to take out the 5th base. But the Vikings are really chipping away at these Colossus. ByuN, he's about to push out. Trap was the first one to max out, but ByuN trades so efficiently. He's got to be careful about the Colossus, though. He's mainly a bio army.
Exactly. The Vikings are trying their best. It looks like they will clean up all the Colossus. The bio are enough to clean up everything on the ground. But is this enough to really, like, you know, push on forward and go with your momentum? Like, he lost his 4th as all that was happening.
Yeah, now he's forced to bring over his main CC to mine from that 4th base location. But on the bright side, Light, if this wasn't ByuN, the Terran player would be dead.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Real.
Yeah, like, that was a really good win for ByuN, like, winning that entire fight, that engagement. But like, he has to do more than that because Trap is on 5 bases. Like, given the time, he'll just remax. Oh.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe a snipe there, but a little too risky. Is content with just draining the energy on that High Templar. Yeah. Main base has successfully shifted to the 4th base location. ByuN is gonna have to be careful there. He wanted a planetary initially to help him in the defense, but now he's kind of got to baby that.
Yeah, exactly. And I do like this. Finally, ByuN is attempting to go for some drops. It's something that he just hasn't had the freedom to do so the entire game, other than the very first fake drop, I guess. And yeah, he is going across the map, but he does pass by. Oh god, there are a couple of DTs on the way.
You know what they say about DTs? Now Trap is aware, but ByuN is not. Regardless, he does have a missile turret. Had an inkling that, you know, Trap might have... I feel like that was more for observers, but it also helps against the DTs. And ByuN has, without fail, has been able to confirm these cloaked units.
Oh yeah, every single time.
Gets a glimpse, and man,
regardless of whether it's DTs or observers, he does take them out. Meanwhile, we do have this drop across the map, forces a recall.
Yeah, very dedicated drop, all things considered, with this tank here. Like, it might have been a mistake, but never really knowing ByuN. ByuN moving in with the rest of his army into the northern base. Trap, he's got to make a decision.
Yeah, Trap, he is pulling everything to help defend against this, and ByuN, he does deal a little bit of damage, but I don't know if he can really contend with the main army once the Colossus show up.
Yeah, he lost all of his Vikings. He doesn't quite have the anti-air around. And the rest of ByuN's army, they retreated from that southern base, did not decide to, continue to push in.
Yeah, exactly. Now this is his last stand. He has 2 Vikings, but he's up against 3 Colossus and all these Storms.
And all of those Archons. I don't see any more Vikings here. Here comes a couple. But man, the anti-air splash damage. Trap has got this.
Yeah, Trap has got this. GG gets called.
And with that, Trap going up 1-0 in this best of 3 round of 16.
Yeah, GG. So, ByuN, we've seen this before, like he has struggled against some of the top tier Protosses in the region, namely Stats, and now we're seeing how he does here against Trap. Honestly, his defense was pretty good, like how he was able to hold on, but in the end, it just wasn't quite enough, right? Because sure, he would defend, but he would take a lot of losses as well, whether it was tanks or his Vikings or his bases.
Yeah, I feel like Trap just really was able to find those kind of chinks in ByuN's armor, and I mean, ByuN, he was doing that very actively, trying to find them on Trap, but again, when you look at Trap, he's a shield with a spike.
That he is, and oh boy, ByuN, he really struggled there to contend with it. Like he was able to keep up for the longest time, but the biggest thing was like his economy, right? Like there was a period there where ByuN was on 3 bases against like a 5 base Protoss, like, oh god. Despite ByuN barely like trading with the army, he just didn't have the economy to remake as well as Trap could.
That he could not, but we'll see that changes here on Oxide. LE, they be breathing, they be oxidizing. I actually forgot the word oxidizing. Here in the bottom left-hand corner map, starting all the way in the bottom left-hand corner, the red Protoss player, call him the seismic toss, because throughout the year, he's been on the top of the world. We have, currently teamless, we have Trap.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Oxide LE, we have the teamless Terran. We have the one-man army, the South Korean Terran. It is ByuN.
I was trying to think up what the opposite of Trap was, and then I panicked. I guess bait? Question mark? Because you use the bait to put in the trap?
So a trap is like you catch someone. So the opposite of trap would be like release, right?
Yeah, that's not when you're... I gotta be real honest with you, Light. I was thinking fishing terms here. I was thinking like, yeah, the fish trap. It's like a box you put in the river. Here comes a gas seal? No, not quite.
Not quite. As Trappy is just getting here with his probe, just scouting, making sure that ByuN didn't go for any kind of crazy proxy, which I mean he's been known to do.
Yeah, more so in TvP, I feel. But that just might be bias on my end. Confirmation bias on my end.
Yeah. He's not quite a Maru, but he's kind of known to throw it in there every now and then, and it really keeps his opponent on edge. Like when he's known for something like that.
And Trap, he knows all too well. Now starting to maybe turn the tables a little. He's keeping that probe in that location. Like, what is it for?
Oh, will the tables be turned? Will the turns be tabled? He does have this probe here, kind of just chilling for the moment. As we do see all the tech was thrown down here. The Twilight Council is in the main.
It's gonna be a dank shrine. He sends a probe back.
Yeah, he's just going in for another Scar. It could have been a proxy dark shrine, but no, unfortunately, Trap, he's not cheesing it up here. He is playing this a little bit more standard.
Yeah, I guess that is kind of what we expect from Trap. He's known to play a couple of different styles, but feel like what he's most comfortable with is in his more standard macro.
And when it comes to ByuN, he's doing what he's become, like something that he's become more notable for, and it's skipping that Reaper and not going for the Scout.
Yeah, ByuN, he like never makes Reapers.
Yeah, unless they're proxied. But very often, like whether it's in this matchup, TvP or TvZ as well, like he very often skips that Reaper, and sometimes it's to his downfall.
I feel like it's kind of a map-specific thing. I remember ByuN skipping a Reaper on Oxide in a TvZ versus Rogue where he was up. I said I was over it.
No, I'm not over it, mate. What are you on about? This is gonna be a patience meme at this point. Like ByuN, he just doesn't go for the scouts, and like if his opponent knows about that, they can abuse that.
Very much so. I feel like it's always becoming a pattern here. ByuN, he is keeping a couple of his Marines in position though, just trying to make sure he's not caught off guard by any Stargate play.
Yeah, he's even got the Widowmine in position as well, and it looks like he is looking to go for a little bit of a drop.
Yeah, just a little bit of more standard triple mine drop here. No armory coming out.
Yeah, you know, this is an armory-less drop coming out here from these Widowmines, and Trap, to be fair, because he did go for a Twilight Council opening, like we do have Blink, Blink is already done, actually, Jesus Christ. So he does have these Stalkers to defend. We'll see if they're in position to deny this drop. Oh.
Not quite. And they're starting to actually move pretty far away. Blink is not going to be able to save him. Trap, hope you got your reflexes here today, and he does! There's only a handful of probes here in the natural base. The main base might be a different story. Shield battery blocking a couple of these probes, but for the most part does actually make it out of there.
Yeah.
ByuN gets a nice old scout and a decent amount of damage.
Yeah, it was nicely done. Meanwhile, Blink is done for Trap, so he does have the opportunity to blink into the main base. Oh my god, the tank! Oh god!
So exposed, one more volley, and it does go down. And again, if ByuN was trying to go for a timing attack, which it looks like he was, having just one less tank makes the push that much weaker.
Yeah, exactly. Oh god, it's just the unfortunate timing there, where Trap went in as soon as the tank finished up here in the factory, and he was able to snipe it. So ByuN, he was like a couple of things like kind of went his way, and some things went Trap's way. Where ByuN, I believe he was able to keep his medevac alive, and he goes back in with 2 Widowmines. Oh.
Yeah, unable to really get much damage here, but at least a nice scouting for a little bit. Oh, that might have been a mistake there for ByuN.
Oh.
It's pretty much given up whatever these probes had to fear.
There we go, and now that has been dealt with. So ByuN is pushing across, or he's getting ready to push across the map. And again, like imagine this push with an extra tank. That's what it would have been if Trap hadn't found that harassment early on.
Yeah, but all things considered, he's got a decent bio count. I mean, you think of ByuN, you do think of him as someone who... You do think of him a lot more as someone who maneuvers his bio, right? His tank positioning is pretty good, but it's all going to be about these Marines Marauders.
Oh, yeah, and we'll see if he can... Yeah, Trap, he's trying to catch the drop, and he's just barely getting it. Okay, ByuN, he's aware of the army.
And he does decide to go straight into the main while he has the opportunity to do so. There's that Robo Bay, but ByuN, he's not quite looking at it.
No, he's not. He does take down the shield battery. Overcharge was wasted. He's looking to get the pylon.
Delay. He does delay thermal ants for a decent amount here.
Oh my god, he gets a free Colossus as well.
GG, ByuN tying up the series sideways 1-1.
Wow, the way that he was able to split apart the army of Trap, he was so close to catching that drop as well. He was looking for it, but unfortunately he just barely missed it. And in that moment, ByuN, he made some magic happen. He didn't even need his tanks.
He kind of did towards the end there. Actually, he didn't need the medevacs in that position. But then again, he did need the medevacs to go for the drop.
Yeah,
But then again...
all he needed was that Marine and Marauder, as he was able to drop into the main base, see all that damage, at the same time push into the third, and Trap, he just couldn't stop it.
that he really could not. We're now going into the ace match. Sideways 1-1. Winner of this is going up to face, as I check real quick, either Firefly or Parting.
Ooh.
So another Protoss player coming up here.
Yeah.
I've missed this light. We have had a shortage for so long. Parting, Trap, and Zest for the longest time just were playing in ESL Asia, but then Zest came back, and now this week we got Trap, we got Parting back in it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame them. They were probably focusing on events like Super Tournament, but now that Super Tournament is over, we're here. We can all come back to these weeklies, just like this player.
Yeah, speaking of Super Tournament, here we are in the bottom right-hand corner map, spotting all the way in the bottom right-hand corner. We have the red Protoss player coming down from South Korea, currently teamless, the wing commander himself. We have Trap.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran, representing himself. It is ByuN.
So here's a question for you, Light. So Trap, he's kind of known as a wing commander because for the longest time, he was kind of known for his Phoenix control, right? And he was one of those players who really committed to the Stargate style. Would that clash with me calling him the seismic toss?
Yes.
Well,
but to be fair, and this has been brought up before, like StarCraft has been around for a very long time. There's a lot of history here, and it's one of those things where
it's one of those things where pathing can save a probe.
It's one of those things where a player like Trap, he got his nickname in an era where like he was very well known for his like Stargate openers and Phoenix control. Nowadays, not so much because the meta changes so much. So it's like, it's kind of odd because there are those players that they get their nicknames for one reason, but then like, you know, ByuN joins a team or something like that, right? And it's like the nickname doesn't make as much sense as before.
Well, I feel like it still makes sense with ByuN here because
oh sure, but
he still does do better when he's not on a team.
Arguably
debatable.
Yeah,
he did win BlizzCon while he was still with Team Expert.
Exactly. I don't want to I don't want to in any way allude to the fact that he shouldn't join a team to perform better, because I don't think that's true at all. But
I mean, he left his team and chose not to join another one.
Yeah, so unfortunately, like ByuN, he is teamless at the moment. Same with Trap, and I'm sure they would love to join a team. But yeah, at the moment, you know, I guess One Man Army kind of does stick with him as long as he's able to, like, I guess, continue his reign of dominance here. And so far, at the end of 2020, like, he's been looking pretty solid.
Yeah, without a doubt. He is fresh out of the army. It's still kind of fresh. I mean, it's been a couple of months, and yeah, he's still showing himself as one of the best Terran players in the world, taking it to some of these more, I wouldn't call them established players, because they're all kind of established here, but more practiced players. There we go.
Yeah, some of these players who have been here for the longest time, and ByuN, he's doing so with his own style, with his own like kind of flair to things, which is what's always amazing to see. When someone comes out with a particular way of playing that isn't necessarily 100% meta, and they do well. On the flip side of things, you have players who do that and they don't do as well. Looking at you, Dark. But but we'll see how ByuN does here. Yeah, he is. Look, I'm just saying, Roach Ravager every game. Like, what are you doing, mate?
He doesn't do it every game now.
True,
I mean,
true.
you know,
if you remember
he
last
does it
time,
every other game.
Last time he casted him, he won my heart back because he went Ling Bane straight into Ultras again.
And then the next game he went Roach Ravager.
He did, and then he just god damn it, Dark.
That was a qualifier and a half.
Yeah, that's
DreamHack last chance.
That was the day of StarCraft. Oh my, okay, and once again, similarly to the previous game, we do have a drop coming out here from ByuN.
Yeah, and he did not skip the Reaper this time. So not only does he get a bit of an earlier scout into the tech that Trap is going for, but he's also able to sort of distract a couple of these stalkers, chasing them away from the natural base, but might be a little bit mistimed, as for the most part, they're back and they're looking to defend that main.
Exactly, they are back. Meanwhile, the robotic spay is already done as well, so Trap can go straight into Colossus tech if need be. And we'll see if ByuN is able to slip on into the main base, you know, where when Trap is a little bit unawares, maybe try and multi-prong as well, or, you know, try and distract him, as you said, with this Reaper.
But for now, just focusing back home, making sure that he does build everything he needs to, and pretty soon, when he can afford to sort of split his attention, we should be seeing that drop hit.
I like how this time the Marines are here in between the bases, making sure they're able to protect the tank, just in case.
Oh yeah, that tank has its own personal escort.
Yeah, it's like, not again. I was cutting it close last time. I had to make that drop happen.
I remember. I could feel the panic in Trap when he sieged up his observer, and I thought, wait a minute, this is ByuN. He'll be able to see this and snipe it, and then immediately unsieges it. Backs it away.
He does escape from those Marines. The Marines, they were hunting for that observer. So a bit of a little dance there going on. And yeah, like ByuN, he's just I know that he hasn't forgotten about it. He's just trying to go for like this mistimed like Widowmine drop. And, yeah, where Trap would have no idea, like, what the hell? Who goes in for a Widowmine drop now at all times?
Time is the answer.
Well, time, he just doesn't stop the drops. That's the difference with time, though.
That's, yeah, accurate. I mean, once he pops, he does not. Once he drops, he doesn't stop.
Exactly.
Whereas ByuN, he's just waiting for the right moment, pushing out with his main army, trying to distract the rest of what Trap has got. But it's a little bit worrisome. I feel like Trap, again, he may just have enough. No, what am I saying? So, even with the shield battery overcharge.
Like, what's scary is that Trap has been very greedy. He attacked very quickly into Colossus, you know, and he skipped a bunch of his army to do so. So even though there's not a lot here to buffer, like, there's still a lot of damage here. And the longer this game goes on, like, he's gonna get away with, you know, getting those Colossus out so much earlier.
But the army's distracted! Trap sees it, though! Backs away, is able to get a couple of probes here, and I do mean a literal couple. Trap, you gotta move.
And he does move. He avoids all of the Widowmine shots.
He moves right to the enemy.
Yeah, exactly. ByuN, he tries to go up the ramp, but he gets force field out.
Beautiful bit of juggling coming out here from ByuN, but is it going to be enough? Tanks are shelling away at this, but Trap, he has the high ground. He did finish Thermal Ants. So he can just chip away at the bio as well as the tanks. Chase this all the way back home. ByuN, he had to hit this timing perfectly. And now that he hasn't, Trap, he is way ahead in the economy game.
Well, Trap didn't even care about the timing because he had 3 Colossus at the as the backbone of his army, and ByuN, he just couldn't get anywhere near those Colossus. They just rained down on the army of ByuN, and he just couldn't do anything about it. He lost so much supply there in that attack.
Them Colossus, man.
They're pretty good. They're pretty good. And now, like, Trap has all this momentum going for him. He's going to be going to try and deny this third base. ByuN, hopefully he can set up his tanks and hopefully must drop a defense here.
A little bit flustered over there, just trying to make sure that he has the tanks in the right position, trying to decide what that position would be. ByuN now working on his +1 armor. He's gonna need it against these +1 Colossus.
Oh god, yeah. I mean, we have Vikings on the way. We have Ghost Academy just finishing up. So the longer this goes on, the better it is for ByuN. Like, he'll be able to get that anti-air. He'll be able to get those goes for EMPs. And Trap, yeah, he's not pushing in. Yeah,
just gonna let it go. He knows that ByuN is gonna be turtled up for a little while, so instead decides to work on his own 4th base, get even further ahead on the economy.
Oh yeah, like, look at the worker count. Like, that's disgusting.
That is massive, even with mules.
Oh god, he's up almost 20 workers compared to ByuN. ByuN, he scans, he snipes the observer, so denying the vision once again from Trap.
And now Trap is just sort of posturing, you know, making himself to be a bit of a threat. keeps Warp Prism in the main army just in case he sees an opportunity where he can actually push in and really start to punish this location for ByuN.
Yeah, but ByuN, he's just rotating around the army of Trap again. Trap, he has no idea. He has no vision of the army whatsoever. He's trying to spread himself out a little bit. What's scary is that, yeah, sure, like he has a couple of Archons or no Storms this time.
But no Ghosts either. Seismic, why do I keep saying Seismic? Enhanced Shockwaves is on the way, but no Ghosts to really take advantage of that yet. Nice little bit of run by here. ByuN's main army is so far in the front. Does have a couple of reinforcements that he's able to stim and sort of deflect these zealots.
And he
keeps him back at home.
Yeah, he does. So he does deal with the zealots. Meanwhile, has to be careful here. You have to dance with the Vikings. Make sure you keep the closest behind your stalkers, behind your Archons.
He's just waiting.
Yeah.
Trying to find the exact moment ByuN decides to give up the high ground and get completely surrounded in this sort of arena of white sand.
Like, this is his opportunity where ByuN, he unsieges, he's pushing down the ramp. Oh god, but he does barely able to siege it once again. So Trap, he missed a little window there, and ByuN, he's edging closer and closer.
But I tell you what, Light, this is still a lot of open area. The Zealots are starting to move in. They are starting to get dealt with by the ByuN, but the rest of the army, triple Colossus. I just want to reiterate that for a sec. Mowing through the Marines.
Exactly.
And the Marauders don't have much to really deal with what's left.
Yeah, the EMPs were decent, and he did hit the main army, but there just wasn't enough on the ground to push through. 2 Colossus did fall, but that was it for the Vikings. 1 Colossus still stands, and that was just enough for Trap to push on forward.
That it was. He has gained a foothold over here. Not the best defensive position here for Terran. It's, again, there's just some wide open areas that allows the Protoss player to flank and get a nice little bit of surround. Not even needing to that Warp Prism. GG is called. Trap takes this series. Almost at game number 1. Whew. Moving on into the quarterfinals to face another Protoss player, and it is gonna be Parting.
Ooh.
He's taking out Firefly 2-0.
Oh my!
That's one heck of a PvP.
This is one of those things where I'm sure after that series, Trap, he's like, whew, okay, I took ByuN out. I'm gonna just refresh the it's like Parting in a PvP. Oh boy.
Man, oh man.